What's going on, friends and family? This is My Thoughts Uncut. I am your host, Terrence Manning. Welcome again. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going to talk about Miss Letitia James and her indictment. We're going to look at different sources, CNN, Fox News, and I believe CBS, and see what they have to say in regards of her possible charges and what she has to look for ahead. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen.
Charges she's now facing in Virginia. The Justice Department secured the indictment yesterday. Now, this marks the second political opponent of President Trump to face charges since he replaced the U.S. attorney in that region. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane is live from Washington now to break it all down for us. So, Scott, break down those charges and talk to us about the ways that this was not sort of a run-of-the-mill indictment.
This is about as far as you can get from a run-of-the-mill indictment. Never seen anything quite like this one before because of the nature of the defendant and how this came to be. The two charges are two federal felony charges. One is bank fraud. The other one is false statement to a financial institution. What they're alleging in this very brief charging document is that New York's Attorney General, the top law enforcement official in New York, defrauded a bank by listing a property purchased in Virginia in the wrong way, indicating it.
And that was, I believe, Norfolk, Virginia back in 2023.
It was not a rental property, therefore getting a better deal on the mortgage rate on the loan. And in fact, she used it as a rental property. Letitia James has consistently and unequivocally denied any wrongdoing here. But to do that, according to the federal prosecutors, is a violation of federal law. It's a defrauding of a bank.
The same thing she said about Trump when she said, oh, it doesn't matter if your people sign those papers. You are solely in charge. You are solely responsible. Same thing applies to her.
And a false statement to a bank. The case will move next to an initial appearance for Letitia James in Norfolk, Virginia, 2 weeks from today. Then the case will move at the pace of the federal government and the federal justice system, Vlad. It takes months to go through these cases. It is a long haul now, a long legal road ahead for Letitia James.
All right, let's see what Fox News has to say about this.
Obviously, and that Democrats are going to use this as a political, talking point. But doesn't this case have teeth?
It does, and I have to tell you that all you need to do is read the indictment to see that it does, because it's a very simple, plain-spoken indictment, which is crucial in a financial case, because in financial cases, they can get very complicated. You could potentially lose the jury. This one doesn't have that. Now, to clear something up, the primary residence issue is not here. That was the initial allegation we all heard about from the power of attorney form. What it comes down to is the following. She signed the operative paperwork to get the loan, saying that the house in Virginia is going to be a second house, not an investment property, a second house for her to go to herself. She's not allowed to have somebody there renting it. Okay, that's how she gets the loan. She then takes her paperwork for her taxes and puts on her tax forms that it is an investment property and in fact has write-offs relative to the investment property. So internally it's inconsistent by her own paperwork.
And you can't do that clearly. This is smelling fishy right now.
By getting the lower rate for a non-investment property, she saved about $19,000 to this point. That is the crux of the allegation.
Yeah, $19,000 is nothing to snooze off. That's a lot of money. For people that are rich, that's still a lot of money. Rich people, billionaires, wealthy people, that's how they get their wealth as well. They save on taxes. $19,000?
Okay, and so here's a senator from Michigan, Alyssa Slotkin. This is what she told CNN on Thursday.
Just as part of a bigger trend of the President of the United States using the Department of Justice, using the legal system to go after political adversaries, using the arms of our democracy to go after political adversaries. It's just a broken way to do politics.
I wonder what you think about that, because nobody said that at the beginning when Letitia James went after Trump for the same thing.
Yeah, pretty rich when you consider the fact that that was her promise in coming into office as the Attorney General, that she was going to be using her office to go after Donald Trump, which is really not her remit as supposedly the top law enforcement officer in New York.
That is pretty rich of her to say that about Trump when her sole campaign back in 2018 was to get after Trump. As a New York Attorney General, she should have been focusing on the crime in New York City, the crime in New York. She should have been focused on the drugs in New York, the gang violence in New York, making people safe in the subways, making people safe just in general. But her sole campaign was just on Trump, not the actual New York citizens, which is sad. And we're going to see what Mr. Anderson Cooper has to say about this too, because he is also one to criticize her.
Day after she was elected in 2018, Letitia James was asked by a community activist if she was going to sue President Trump, and she replied, quote, "Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally." I mean, that's not a great look for somebody who has just been elected or just been campaigning, who hasn't even looked, I guess, at deeply at any evidence.
Anderson Cooper.
Like I said, these people don't care about U.S. citizens. They have Trump derangement syndrome, and all they care about is the most leftist thing ever. These Democrats are no good. Come to the conservative side, people. We're good over here. Also, we're going to show you evidence of Miss Letitia James campaigning on Trump, and putting him in jail.
Who say, "Oh, I'm not going to bother to register to vote because my voice doesn't make a difference, or I'm just one person."
I say one name, Donald Trump. That should motivate you. Get off your ass and vote.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
There you go. This is on her campaign trail. This is solely what she ran for. I have no idea how the people in New York felt for this. They were not suffering whatsoever because Trump was the president. Their issues was the issues that all the other Democratic mayors and governors in New York didn't solve. They didn't solve the problems for illegal immigration. They didn't solve the crime problem in New York. New York has always been crime infested.
He's gonna know my name personally.
I love it. He probably does already.
He built his wealth off the backs of New Yorkers.
We need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. All of those transactions have happened here in New York City. Tell this president and every other individual that no one is above the law.
I say the bottom line is that residents from Brooklyn who are going to really make the difference are energized. Individuals from the city are energized. Individuals who care about statewide issues are energized. Individuals who care about, again, going after Donald Trump, this illegitimate governor.
Nothing about making the streets safer. Nothing. Like, nothing about trying to get New York citizens more jobs, create more jobs, bring in businesses, help small businesses. This is a campaign strictly on Trump. And this is 7 years ago. 7 years she's been after this guy. And then she says, no one's above the law. Well, sweetheart, looks like you're going to reap those words.
Individuals who care that he has colluded and that he's violated the emoluments clause. And that basically all that he stands for is in violation of our values and who we are as a people and as a society. And so individuals who care about this country and who care about our rights and who care about, again, immigrants who are hiding right now, we've got to make some noise. We've got to let our voices know. And what we need is someone who's going to take the fight to White House at the same time representing the interests of New York. Her name is Letitia James, and that's the
New Yorkers, this is what you wanted in your city, and this is what you got. You're gonna have to make some big changes. These mayors, these governors in your city are not helping you. They don't have your best interest. Trump actually has your best interest. The Republicans have your best interest. We want less crimes, less government. We do not want people in New York riding the subways, fearing for their lives, just walking the street, broad daylight, and gang violence. But people like her, New York Attorney General, who's going after the president instead of going after the real criminals. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree, you disagree. I enjoy the feedback no matter what. Like for my YouTube algorithm. And I see you next time. Oh, subscribe. Peace.